Welcome to MS General Repair. My name is Mike. Today we're going to be starting work on this 2006 Cub Cadet with a 20 horsepower Kohler Command engine in it. I've already been through the carburetor once just to get it running so I could see what else this tractor may need, because it came in not running. So this is going to be part one of the series on the repair of this tractor, and this episode I'll be focusing on the carburetor. The repair parts are in for it, so I'm going to pop the carburetor off of this and we'll get it over to the bench, disassemble it, run it through the ultrasonic cleaner, and install the rebuild components and the fuel shutoff solenoid, which is no good in it. So let me grab some tools and we'll get going on the carburetor removal. Okay, so we're going to get this air filter off of here. And I've already also cut into the fuel line on this. I replaced the fuel filter, and I added a manual shutoff to the fuel line. And I'd suggest that you do the same on all of your engines that have the solenoid fuel shutoff on them. Don't rely on that solenoid fuel shutoff. If it leaks the gas into the carburetor and up through the carburetor, down the valves and into the block, you're going to have big problems. Those valves are cheap. They're cheap insurance. I recommend you go back to a little bit old school, put a fuel shutoff on the thing, and have a little bit of insurance that you're not going to have major problems. I had another tractor in a couple weeks ago. The crankcase was completely full of gasoline. He went to start the tractor and it wouldn't start, and luckily it wouldn't start. So he was fortunate he didn't bend or break anything internally in the engine. I've also drained all the fuel out of this, out of the fuel tank on this. There was water in with the gas. A chipmunk or something chewed away at the vent on the gas tank, so I guess that's why that's how the water got in there. Maybe it got in another way, but I drained out the fuel tank, flushed it out, and I've had the tractor running. The got your wire back here, which powers up the shut-off solenoid. On the back carburetor hold-down bolt, you've got a ground wire on there, so that needs to be put back when you reinstall the carburetor, obviously. And you've got the choke and throttle levers over here, linkages. You just need to manipulate things around so you can get those out of there. There's also a spring going over to the governor. So you want to get that out of there, and there's also a bushing, a plastic bushing for that linkage, so you don't want to lose that. So let me I take this over to the bench, and I'll move the camera around and get you set up over there. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the carburetor that we're working on today, and there's the numbers for this carburetor. So we're going to get the 4 screws out of this and separate the top half from the bottom half. Somebody had been in here ahead of me. The tractor is a 2006, so it's 12 years old. So who knows how many times it's had carburetor issues. This block here is just kind of like a parallel block for a magnetic chuck on a surface grinder or whatever. It came with a lot of machinist tools I bought, and I have no use for it. But what it is good for is working on carburetors. I like to set them on here because it protects the linkage and the throttle arm and everything from being bent when you have to bear down on a screw to break them loose. So it works well for that. Okay, now we can separate the top half with our float and our needle and a couple of jets. And here's the bottom half. We'll just dump the fuel out of that. I usually try to use a clean container, but like I said, I've already been through this carburetor just enough to make it run. and I've already flushed out the fuel system and everything else, so I'm not really concerned about it. Then we've got the solenoid. This solenoid was completely crudded up. With corrosion, both on the part of the piston that goes up inside the coil, as well as the part here that goes and shuts your fuel off. This was all full of corrosion. Inside the coil, it was all full of corrosion. I bent these tabs out and took it all apart. This plunger will come out the back side, and then I took a Dremel tool with a wire wheel on it and cleaned it up, and it's functioning now. But I'm going to put in a new one because I don't have any confidence in how long it's going to remain functional, and I don't like recalls, so I don't want the guy calling me up a month from now saying his tractor isn't working again, and then I find out that the fuel shutoff is bound up again and not allowing any fuel into the carburetor. So the float comes out easy enough. You've got one screw here that retains the hinge pin, so you take that out, and the needle is hanging off the bottom of it. The repair kit comes with a new needle. The float is fine. It's not retaining any gas. The gasket here, the repair kit comes with a new gasket, so we're not going to be needing this one. So we'll just get it out of here, because as soon as I get this all broken down, you can see the corrosion that's underneath there. This carburetor is going in the ultrasonic cleaner to get all spiffied up. You've got the jet here. There's two ends to this. One end is cut down, and that end has to be out of the body, because it has to go down in the corresponding chamber on the other half of the carburetor. So make sure when you put that back together, you put that side up. And then we've got the choke plate here. So we're going to take that off. And it looks like we're running out of time. I only get about 18 minutes out of my SD card for this camera. I've got to order up a bigger one, I guess, and I hope that the bigger one's going to be compatible with the camera. I'm no camera expert, but anyway, I like to just take a scribe and put an X on the side of the plate that's facing out to me, so that when I put it back together, it goes in right the first time. So that's it for this. I'm gonna finish breaking this down, and I'll put it in, and then I'm putting it in the ultrasonic cleaner, and part 2 will be reassembling this carburetor. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Help me grow the channel a little bit. I try to give detailed videos. I could do a little better if I had a longer card to work with. But thanks for watching.